Welcome back. In this second video in our series, Living the Life You Love, How to Get Free from Anxiety, Depression, and Stress, we're going to talk about how to find your fear, the fear underneath all of your problems. As we said in the last video, there is one secret to getting free from anxiety and stress and depression, and that is finding the fear at the root of all of your problems and then facing it to discover that it does not have the power to scare you any longer. Again, once we face our fear, we find either a problem that we can manage because in real time, not some fantasized anxious future, we can deal with it. Or often we find that there was no problem at all except the fearful imaginings that we had made up and projected onto the present. The technique I want to offer you in this video is very powerful and very important for getting free of anxiety, depression, and stress. The idea is to start with a problem, again, any problem, because we're looking for the root fear underneath all of your problems. So let's say that you have a problem of being nervous that you're going to get fired from your job. You might write this down on a piece of paper, in which case it would be written at the top left of the page. Number 1, top left. I'm afraid I might lose my job. Keep the sentence short and describe it in the form of an actual fear. On the right side of the page, number 1, you want to ask one of 3 questions. These are 3 versions of the same question. The first version is, why is that upsetting to me? The second is, what am I afraid will happen next? And the third is, what am I afraid I would miss or lose? The point here is that we're going to pick which of these 3 questions is the most helpful and makes the most sense to ask of our initial problem. So I'm afraid that I'm going to lose my job. Let's start with, why is that upsetting to me? It doesn't really matter which of the questions you use. Sometimes you'll find one is more helpful than another. So on the right side of the page, you would write number 1, why is that upsetting to me? Now we're going to answer that question with number 2 on the left side of the page underneath number 1. And the answer is going to be a new problem. If I lose my job, I won't have any money. So you would write down, again in the form of a short sentence that describes a fear, I won't have any money. Now on the right side, pick one of those 3 questions. Why is that upsetting to me? What am I afraid will happen next? What am I afraid I'll miss or lose? These questions are carefully worded, and it's usually best not to veer too far from them, at least while you're getting good at this technique. So on the right side, we might ask, what am I afraid will happen next if I don't have enough money? Write that down. Now, on the left side, you're going to answer that question, again, underneath number 2. What we're doing is creating a step ladder down toward the core fear, the root fear underneath our problem, deeply buried in our unconscious, usually, but we're trying to make it conscious so that we can use it and manipulate it and get some power with it. So if we ask the question, what am I afraid will happen next if I don't have money? The answer might be number 3 on the left side, I won't be able to support myself. Write that down. Now, on the right side, same thing. Number 3 might be, what am I afraid I will miss or lose? Again, I'm just picking any of the questions, seeing which one might be most helpful to get the answer. If I say, what am I afraid to miss or lose if I can't support myself? The answer, number 4 on the left, might be, I'll lose the opportunity to do what I want to do with my life. Or, I'll miss the chance to have fun, provide for my family, and take vacations, and so forth. I'll miss the chance to do the kind of career I'd like to do. I'll be forced to take a job. Whatever your answer to that question, write it down in a short form on the left side. On the right side, one of those 3 questions. The most helpful one in this case might be, what am I afraid will happen next if I can't support my family? Well, somebody might have the fear then, my spouse will leave me. Why is that upsetting to me? I don't want to be alone. What am I afraid will happen next if I'm alone? I'll lose my opportunity to do what I want with life. Now, That's just a general idea of a general example, and you want to apply it to your specific circumstance very specifically. It won't do to get general and vague and abstract. You got to really get down to the fear. Don't worry, you're just looking at what's already in there. You're not making it come true. You're not going to aggravate your anxiety. You're going to get some power to actually take control over it by understanding it. There are several what I call core fears, universal themes of loss that we all buy into. And they're actually, again, different forms of the same core fear. But these universal core fears are, for instance, loss of identity. Who will I be if I lose that job and I can't do what I always wanted to do? Abandonment. How would it feel if I lose my spouse? Core fear might be the loss of a chance to express yourself. I need to do what I want to do with my life, otherwise there's no point. Similarly, there's a core fear of not having a meaning or a purpose to your life. And finally, the other big core fear that people seem to tap into is, of course, the fear of pain leading to death, which takes care of the identity and the meaning and the abandonment and the expression. They're all very much related. I say these to you in case it's helpful when looking for your own core fear to try and match it to one of these. But please go through this process. It's extremely powerful to understand what your fear is underneath the other thoughts or disguised fears that you seem to have, so that you can really do something powerfully about it. In the next video, we're going to be talking about what to do about it. In fact, in the next many videos, I'm going to be giving you techniques that are tried and true that really give you some freedom from the anxiety that automatically says, I've got to go into panic mode, or the depression that says, I can't do anything about this. We're going to be talking about lots of tools to actually break up that construct or those constructs and give you a new lease on life to live the life you love.